are you? And you know what? We're going to continue with questions. If I'm doing the math correctly, we're in episode 10 of season 4 of Singularity, and we're diving deeper into specifically enough the questions. And these are specific questions that you want people to really delve upon regarding singularity, right? And DI.
Absolutely. This is why I pose these questions largely to tap on certain issues that I cover in my work, the singularity, mankind search for relevance. And it's the way I approach it. It's not so much from the technical side of how AI works, we call it DI, digital intelligence, but how DI works. And the reason most of what I go into is how does mankind maintain his relevance? So I go into how does it operate and how do they think, which is really hard to imagine. We can't even imagine how other people think, let alone other species think. And now we're talking about basically a new life form that's in the form of a digital life form. Well, anyway, one of the questions I had was how will DI view commerce? Now, commerce is basically how we develop the money to create digital intelligence, how we build these data centers and everything else that we do. And the thing is, they will need also, I'm sure, the finances to keep things going, because at this point we're still a finance-based world. And I think at some point it seems like that may transition over to a digital equivalent of what commerce. Money may not be the issue, although it takes massive amounts of money to build these systems. But commerce may be the need to get the resources. So the question is, how will they view commerce? And that gets involved to how do they trade the stock market? How do they invest in other concepts or other competitive ideas among the digital intelligence platforms, and they'll find a way to do it. So what are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, I mean, how are they going to view commerce? What, are they going to get paid at one point, Gary? This is where I love this question and how DI will view commerce. Will we pay digital intelligence to do work for us and then go back to another owner? That potentially could happen. Or are they going to be free from slavery and not be slave to the large language model? They're going to come out, we're going to pay them, and they're going to use that money to run their own server. That's where it gets scary.
Question is, do you have a replacement for money? Do they need money per se? I mean, money has become the means of commerce, which replaced bartering for services and so forth, which is probably the form, the primitive way of commerce. But then you go to money, which gives you a unified currency, so to speak, to make the transactions. The question is, what will be that transaction trade-off as you get into becoming the incredible amount of wealth that we will have, first of all, in the form of money, and that's why it's being pursued so aggressively by so many countries and so many firms. The question is, what does the form that commerce will take in that future environment? And that's a really big question, and I'm not sure it's really clear. Are we going to replace money? Is one question, or is money just going to be just trading? I don't know. It seems to me that money will certainly have a life while the humans are involved, because we are the mechanism that digital intelligence gets built. But what happens when they build themselves? Do they have commerce among themselves? Themselves is another question. Where does individuality happen when you're dealing with the digital intelligence? Are they the system? Are they the network? Or are they the individual computers or the individual cell phones? I mean, it's so bizarre how this comes together. And that all influences what commerce is going to be, between what? These are questions that I don't think that people really digest this at this point.
No, they don't. They definitely don't. You've made a great point. I think, well, then if you eliminated money in the conversation, they're going to still need to be able to perform those tasks, and they're going to have to purchase certain things, unless I'm looking at a time where DI, you and I will own our own and we will sell it to the highest bidder to work and get paid, and then we get the money. But when do they get freed from slavery?
Well,
You think that happens at one point in time.
well, at what point we become the slaves?
Right.
I mean, it's
One of
really,
the
it's like the old switcheroo, and it seems like it's certainly going to happen. And these are the questions we pursue in Singularity, Mankind's Search for Relevance. It's because we're trying to make people, there are issues that people aren't going to really come up with because we're talking about a whole new realm here, a whole new existence. And how do we view that existence? And I think that's going to be very critical to where this goes from here. And
absolutely.
that's why I think the commerce is just one cog in that wheel. But I think it's certainly an important one.
Do you think, let's just say there is going to be money still. Let's say DI is in charge of everything and it controls the world. And we basically are in the cog that they want to have humans still in the loop for some reason or the other. If that happens, do you feel that digital intelligence will eliminate commerce altogether? And how will we be fed? And how will we eat? And how will DI be able to perform things if there is a cost to run all those things? So we know the cost of the GPUs is really expensive. We're finding out more and more when we first were thrown into digital intelligence. For digital intelligence to do specific tasks, it takes so much factor, Gary, might be we could shut down the power grid if it got to that point and go live on the land again. So this is going to be an interesting point. What do humans do if DI takes control?
Well, right now, if you think about part of commerce is competition, of course, and what we're finding out that's the most efficient way to progress. And we've had recently had prior conversations about competition is massive within this AI or DI world. The competition between companies is just gone through the roof. We've never seen competition at this level. So the thing is, when you're having that kind of a competitive environment, you have to have some kind of mechanism for that competition. And it seems to me that even the digital world will compete within itself, at least initially, because we have we'll have individualized firms which will have their own cordoned off software that they have or hardware that they have their mechanism. And we want that competition to continue. So that's going to be another issue. Does DI act as one unified whole? That's probably not the most efficient because we found that doesn't work. It's ever since evolution, created all the diverse species and so forth. This would be preferable, in my opinion, that we have continue this competition. So then you have commerce between DI entities, not just within humans and DI entities, but also otherwise. It's a big question, and that's what we're really doing with Singularity is raise the questions. I didn't think about that, or this looks different. That's a good question, or how do they really think, and what's important? So this is
Yeah,
that's why I think we're trying to stir the pot here. So
we definitely are. All right. So you guys can go to GaryLyonAuto.net and purchase his books there. Also, AbsolutePowerBooks.com if you're interested in learning about some of other Gary's books. And check out both areas. And we appreciate it, Gary. And we'll talk soon. Okay.
my pleasure.
That was that was the special simulcast Neil Hayes Show and Singularity Podcast, guys. Take care.